Hi everyone, this is Melody Nolan. It is June 13th, 2022, and I am back with a segment of my music therapy session. So I'm here with my music therapist, who for confidentiality purposes will remain off screen for now, but she will be accompanying me live on the guitar because, as usual, I will be singing. I briefly want to apologize for missing last week. I had some unexpected medical issues to deal with. I am doing much better, but to be honest, one of the reasons that I selected this song for this week is because it's one that I'm feeling well enough to sing. Different songs take different muscles in the diaphragm and control and in the voice and everything, and this one is easier to sing. So I'm going to be singing my version, my lyrics, to When You Say Nothing at All, and I will be linking a link in the description below to the original version so that you can compare. I will also be providing a link to a strictly audio version of me performing this song. So I have rewritten this song, which was originally intended as more of a romance, to be a song of gratitude to my music therapist. So thank you, music therapist, and we will proceed. I hope you enjoy this. Afterwards, I will be discussing the lyrics that I've written and what they mean to me. I just pause it.
Oh, no, not pause it.
Yeah. Okay. It's a mystery to me how well you know my heart. Without saying a word, you lift me out from dark. And try as I may, I could never explain just what I hear when you don't say a thing. Your quiet presence tells me you hear me. You sang me a song saying you don't plan to leave me. You witness my words, my pictures, my poems, my songs. And you hear me best when you say nothing at all. All day long I can hear people talking out loud. At the end of the day, quiet drowns out the crowd. And old Mr. Webster could never define what's being said between music and silence. Your quiet presence tells me you hear me. You sang me a song saying you don't plan to leave me. You witness my words, my pictures, my poems, my songs. And you're here for me by saying nothing at all. Vibrations and phrases are all that I need to know you'll keep your word and that you don't plan to leave. And on the day that you see an eighth shade of a rainbow, I'll sing you sweet silence, and you'll hear it all. Thank you. Okay, so I was saying for privacy purposes, we're keeping her off screen. Obviously, I'm the client, and I can I can waive my right to privacy, but we just sort of decided that at least for now, we would keep her identity confidential, just to see what kind of response we get, and just how I feel then about who it is, about exposing who it is with whom I am sharing my process so deeply. One thing I would like to share, because this song gets into my gratitude for her and my relationship with her and actually alludes to some of her characteristics, is that she is a highly intelligent woman and a woman of few words. And so at first this was really hard for me because I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and I also, as you can tell, like to talk and share about everything. And there were times early on in the process working with this therapist that I was just kind of like, are you listening to me? What is your response to me? And we just had to have a conversation about our communication styles so that I felt heard. And so this phrase, "you're here for me by saying nothing at all," is very powerful in our relationship, because I have learned that oftentimes her silence is her acceptance. Sometimes it's her processing, and I know that when she asks a question, and she has never asked what felt like an obvious or dumb question. So I know that she is taking in everything to the best of her ability, and working and thinking and analyzing, and sometimes this comes out in words and sometimes it doesn't. So I'm one of these clients who can often identify what I need and ask for things, and there was a point where I really wanted some reassurance that she wasn't going to abandon me. And so I asked her if she would just say a few words into the tape recorder, just kind of saying, "I'm here, unless something out of, completely unforeseen happens. I'm in this for the long haul. Don't worry, you can continue sharing. You're not going to scare me away," or whatever. And she was like, "I'm not a very verbal person. I don't think I can do that." And I was really disappointed. And then later that day, I got an email with an attachment that was a recording of a little song expressing just those thoughts. So this line here that says, "You sang me a song saying you don't plan to leave me," is literal. And it has been a wonderful tool. I have 2 such songs. One is very short. It's 2 lines long. The other one's a little bit longer. But all you music therapists out there, this is a wonderful tool if you are willing to do this for your clients. So, since I just said that, I am wondering what type of audience I am reaching. So I would appreciate it if you would comment below if you are a music therapist, if you are some other type of therapist or human services worker, if you're a student, if you are a mental health client or professional. I'm talking kind of to all of you because my experience encompasses all of this, but I would like to know who I am reaching. So please feel free to type below. So a brief little background on my history with this music therapist was that I moved to an area here in the Midwest where traditional mental health counseling is very difficult to find on a consistent basis. And a social worker from the county said, "We do have a music therapist. Would you be interested in that?" Not knowing that I have a background in music, which is both a plus and a minus, and definitely not a requirement if you want to engage in music therapy. But anyway, I was like, sure, I can try that. But my point of view of music therapy, from what I knew, which I have since learned is kind of an old school definition that was common on the West Coast when music therapy was first becoming a thing, was that it was more used to develop motor skills and things like that. So I wasn't really sure how much she could help me because my issues were mental health oriented. So she came and we did the traditional intake exercises with me clapping back rhythms and doing certain things with speech and certain things with instruments and just being able to tell where things were. And some of these tangible exercises have come back to be useful to help bringing back into my body when I'm having more dissociative type episodes, which is when you get so overwhelmed that you kind of leave your body. That's another discussion, but any trauma victims out there will know what I'm talking about, as well as, of course, the therapists. But mainly I wanted to talk about or find a way to continue releasing energy that came from my trauma, and for me, creativity is one way of doing that. So after these tests, I guess, during our interview, she was like, okay, so what is it that you need? What do you need out of music therapy? And I said, well, I'm really depressed. I need to work on my mental health. I'm depressed. I'm isolated. I have, both, I have a lot of serious physical issues, a lot of emotional issues, anxiety. And she said, okay, well, I primarily work with autistic kids under 5, but I'm willing to try. And I was like, hey, kudos to you. I did the same thing when I used to teach piano. I had a client of a parent of a special needs student call me, explain the situation and say, can you teach him? And I said, I don't know, but I'm very creative and I'm willing to try. And I did. And it was a successful relationship, as has been this one. I have been blessed to be able to continue to work with this therapist. I believe we're on our 4th year, but it may be our 3rd. So basically this was just a song of gratitude. Let's see. I've seen several posts lately on Twitter. If you want to follow me, I'll put that link below as well. I'm twirling for joy 1. And music therapists out there are talking about how their job extends beyond the music. And this is very true. What my music therapist told me was her job is to, quote, meet the needs of the client, whatever they are. And so far she has done this. She has been mental health counselor. She has been spiritual advisor. She's been obviously a music therapist. At times she has been music teacher. It depends on what you need. Now, I have been able to do this, and she has been willing to assume these roles because I have given her access to previous mental health records, as well as to directly speaking with previous therapists or other professionals with whom I've spoken, so that she can get clarification and input and ideas at any time. And she hasn't had to do this very often, I think only once or twice. But I think that having that information available to her made her feel more open and secure in dabbling in an area with which she was less familiar. She obviously had training in the mental health aspect of music therapy, but sometimes we go deeper than that. I will do another video at some point about what it takes to become a board certified music therapist. I'm saving that for the week when she's away, so I can't sing with her. So anyway, these lines, you witness my pictures, my poems, my songs, is literal. I've done kind of like all sorts of art stuff and writing poems that I don't put to music and things, and I shared them with her. Our sessions, the scope of our session goes way beyond what you are seeing here. This line, old Mr. Webster could never define, that was from the original song, and I loved that line. And then I added what's being said between music and silence. So old Mr. Webster could never define what's being said between music and silence. That's probably my favorite line of the whole song. And then my revised chorus at the end, vibrations and phrases are all that I need to know you'll keep your word and you don't plan to leave. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this song and the performance. As I said, I will link an original performance of this song, When You Say Nothing at All, which was actually, I should have said sooner, composed and I believe performed by Alison Krauss. That will be in the description below. My high quality auditory version of singing my version of the song will also be linked below. And I just would really appreciate your feedback on your experiences with music therapy. Sorry, we're having a storm and the lights are going on and off. And anything else, any questions you may have for me and my process on the mental health client side of music therapy, and any suggestions of anything else that you would like to see on this channel. Also, again, please share who you are, where you're coming from, both geographically and internally, just as a person or as a professional, who you are, and I will do my best to tailor my content to you. So thank you very much for tuning in, and I will see you next week.